Update 13 for Elite Dangerous is set to arrive next week. That's week beginning the 7th of August. This is the first update of 2 scheduled for the second half of this year. The second one, of course, is coming around about November, update 14. Now, what is update 13 all about? Well, as you can probably guess, based on the images on screen right here, it is very much focused on what Frontier call a narrative, and therefore likely to heavily involve Thargoids. Unfortunately though, this really doesn't tell us very much at all on what to expect. Now, what we do know is that the recent few weeks have involved a lot of stories surrounding Thargoids, Salvation, as well as Azimuth. That's the Azimuth saga. The story has been taken place in text form on Galnet and has also involved a few community goals in the game. Well, I say a few, but usually 1 or 2 different community goals each week, so yeah, quite a few community goals going on there. These are the usual affair of anti-zero combat, as well as the retrieval distribution of goods, various different commodities, from space stations to the megaships within the HIP 22460 star system. For now at least, all a pretty standard affair for Elite Dangerous. But yes, this narrative does appear to be important for Elite Dangerous. It's leading towards something. Specifically, it appears to be leading towards Update 13. What this means in terms of physical, actual content though remains a huge mystery. Of course, quite naturally, this is leading to a lot of speculation within the game's community. Understandably, expectations are now mixed. Some people I've seen feel that Update 13 and the narrative is going to substantially change the game. Other people feel that nothing is going to happen beyond just a Galnet post. Bottom line, it means that yes, everyone is speculating, and I'm going to join in on that and base this speculation upon my years of experience with Elite Dangerous and, well, Frontier and how they tend to implement various types of content. So then, what can we expect and what are we best not expecting? Well, straight up front, I feel it's wise to not expect any huge fundamental shifts in the gameplay of Elite Dangerous. Update 13 won't be something that dramatically changes what Elite Dangerous is. Now, this may be obvious to many people out there, but it's definitely worth mentioning, as I've seen quite a few people having exceptionally high expectations on what they're going to see in Update 13. But just because I feel it's unlikely to be huge fundamental shifts in the Elite Dangerous gameplay, it doesn't mean that the update isn't going to be exciting. I do suspect something is going to happen, it's going to be interesting, and I think it's very likely going to be surprising quite a few people. That said, I have absolutely no inside information on this, I have no clue on what to really expect, but yet things certainly seem to be leading in a certain direction. In terms of the in-game story, the content that's being posted in text form to Galnet, the Azimuth saga is certainly heating up. The enigmatic leader, Salvation, is building a superweapon in the HIP 22460 star system, a superweapon that is planned to completely wipe out the Thargoid race, or at least enough of them to make them completely harmless and no longer a threat to humanity. Now, considering that the Thargoids are a mainstay for Elite Dangerous, they are the game's only alien race, well, it seems unlikely they're going to be wiped out, so very unlikely this weapon is going to work as expected. This leads to 2 real questions. If the weapons are not going to work as expected, will it malfunction? If so, what will the consequences be? The second question is perhaps more of an observation. Can Salvation actually be trusted? And if not, what is the true goal of his superweapon? Of course, all of this is yet again a pure speculation. We have no way to really know what's going on. But that said, there is some reasonable grounds for speculation here and some evidence to suggest, well, maybe some alien Thargoid motherships are on the way. In fact, it's long been suggested, long been rumoured, that the Thargoid bases we see on the ground are not only bases, not mere bases, but rather they are Thargoid motherships, and that one day they will leave the surface of the planets and head on up into space. But what would this mean for gameplay itself? What would it actually bring to the game? Well, it would mean that conflict zones up in space would likely shift their focus. Another point of speculation is that Thargoid ground combat is also likely to be a thing. Now personally, I'm not expecting to see this in Update 13. It could happen, but I don't think it will. I think it's far more likely that FPS Thargoid ground combat will be a part of Update 14, the update that Frontier are calling a major narrative update. Now, all of this aside, Update 13 won't just include narrative, it will also include a number of fixes and improvements to the game as well. I'm going to talk about those in just a moment, But first, let's catch up with the story as it stands right now. Hopefully, this will give some insight at least into what to expect from Update 13. This is the latest from Galnet. Pilots Federation alert. Work on the Proteus wave in the HIP 22460 system has concluded, according to an announcement from Azimuth Biotech. This is salvation. The core mechanisms of the Proteus wave is now fully assembled. Under my guidance, specialists are performing checks at the selected site on HIP 22460-10B. Additional power capacitors are also being installed to improve energy transfer management. Over the next few days, the Proteus wave will be calibrated within one of the Thargoid structures, the unique properties of which will greatly amplify the weapon's signal. This breakthrough was only made possible due to the decades of xenological research conducted by Azimuth, alongside pioneering theories on cross-species interfaces. Commodore Halloran reports that even greater numbers of Thargoid vessels have arrived within the Proteus wave's effective range, but it is now absolutely critical that they are prevented from approaching the planet. At all costs, the superweapon must be protected until it is ready for activation. The Allied, Federal and Imperial Anti-Xeno Task Force continue to engage Thargoid forces within the HIP 22460 system. Volunteers are still urgently needed to support their capital ships and take part in the defending the Proteus Wave project. The Musashi and Azimuth megaship in the nearby Pleiades sector will redeem all Thargoid combat bonds. There we have it, the weapon is being readied to fire. The only real question is whether this is going to occur before or after Update 13. Another question, of course, is whether or not players are going to actually get to see the weapon fire. Now personally, I expect it's very unlikely to see this occur within game. That is, unless the weapon's activation is a repeating ongoing process, in which case just maybe there will be an occurrence within the game, something we will actually be able to get to see, as well as maybe interact with. Now, the other possibility is this will be just a single activation of the weapon, and therefore making it very unlikely we would witness it within the game. There is an alternative here though. Just maybe Frontier will release a video displaying what's going to happen, some sort of trailer, some sort of story-based event. Ultimately, absolutely anything is possible here. But of course, expectations and anticipation is pretty high for all of this. After all, the Azimuth saga has been built up for a very long time now, and naturally that means the stakes are very high, both for the in-game story as well as for what the players hope to see. Now, all that said, there is somewhat of a dramatic irony here. Update 13 is an update. It's an update for a game. An update generally means that people can expect to see new content. But at this point, we're not talking about new content, we are talking about story, and a text-based story at that. So in many ways, it is somewhat of an unusual situation. It's possible, likely even, that players will be expecting one thing and delivered another. Unfortunately, on that count, only time will tell. Frontier are remaining completely tight-lipped. Understandably, if this is story-based because they won't want to spoil it. But you know, in general terms, it'd be pretty handy for the player base to be aware whether or not physical content update is actually coming. Now, in terms of the other aspects of Update 13, the other few parts that Frontier have discussed, we have this bit of information. Update 13 release incoming. This is taken from Frontier's latest community post. As announced in last week's Frameshift Live number 13, Update 13 is scheduled to be released next week. Keep an eye on our official channels and forum for information on the exact date, time and update deployment schedule, okay? So nothing too specific there. Known issues concerning general stability in game around points of interest and ground settlements and crashes preventing commanders from currently enjoying CQC are making good progress within the team for resolve as a part of Update 13. So there we have it, that's the complete total information we have so far for Update 13. Well, let's hope that Frontier are keeping their cards close to their chest here, and this update is going to be a substantial one. A little like a nice surprise release from Hello Games and No Man's Sky maybe. Yeah, I don't want to get my hopes up too high there, but at the same time I don't want to be too critical, so let's wait and see. Very curious to see where Frontier go with this one. Do let me know in the comments section below what your thoughts and feelings are regarding Update 13, as well as the whole Azimuth saga. What do you expect to happen, and just how interested have you been in the Azimuth saga so far? Love to hear from you, let me know in the comments section. Finally, before I go, we've currently got a giveaway going on the official Obsidian Ant Discord. If you want to join up, do check out the link in the video description where you can join the Discord. The giveaway is for some Steam keys, some Steam game keys for the game Frontiers Reach, a space racing game. Do check out the link in the video description to find out everything you need to know there. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys and girls next time.